What is culture? So when we think culture, oftentimes we think of language, food, traditional clothing. So all these are markers of culture. So maybe a good way to consider of how to best define culture is so different groups of killer whales or orcas. Marine biologists say that different groups of orcas or pods of orcas have their own different hunting culture. So certain pods of orcas are more specialized in hunting seals, others are specialized in hunting fish, others are specialized in hunting great white sharks, actually, and other groups are more specialized in hunting larger whales. So they all have a different culture. So it's kind of best described as a way of life. So if we think of culture as a way of life, you think about like how cultures develop. So depending on um, a group of people's environment, they may have developed certain ways of um, making a living uh, or growing or hunting food. So, for example, population people that are living by large bodies of water or the ocean may have a historic throughout um, the length of human history may have been people who depended a lot on fishing. Uh, those who are living in very areas of very fertile land may have a long history of being agricultural. So these are developed through what makes the most sense in where they live. So they develop certain ways of life that work best for them. They become specialized in certain things based on what they've long been doing in that area. So that you can think of that as how cultures develop based on what they've been doing for the long time, what has worked for such people specifically, and what had allowed them to be successful, respectively, in the area that they lived. So um, so cultures happen because different factors such as their environment and what has been positive in terms of what's been the most uh, beneficial to the entire group. So, um, so in that way, when you think of culture that way, then then it's hard to say which cultures are better than another. So some people say that that Western or European culture is superior because of the history of how Europe, Western Europe, had done a lot of colonization. They conquered much parts of the world, colonized different groups of people, and dominated uh, resources and growth in terms of their military power and their extraction of resources. So, is it accurate to say that these cultures are more superior? So some may argue that, but it's all kind of relative. So any group of people will do what's most beneficial for them, what makes most sense. So each group of people are specialized in certain things, and because of their environment, it made most sense to do a lot more of certain things and developing certain skills. So it's kind of wrong to say any culture is superior to another. So for me, my uh, like educational background. So I obtained a degree in uh, behavioral science, bachelor's in behavioral science before that, an associate's degree in human services. I had taken courses on culture. So, me being Asian American and Korean American, having grown up in the United States, growing up, I kind of had these ideas of not wanting to be different, um, and being accepted by the majority culture. But at the same time, I can't. I'd be ashamed to say that I was ashamed of my culture and heritage, because I would never say that. But there was certainly the aspect of wanting to feel like I belonged, or wanting to feel like I'm not different. Uh, and uh, and I've also, um, I don't know if it's because of that, but I grew up being very shy. Didn't have a lot of like close friendships or a lot of friends growing up. So when we took like these cultural classes or culture studies, I kind of blamed my culture as being the reason why I didn't develop a lot of close friendships or a lot of friends, or wasn't more outgoing, because of how East Asian Confucian cultures, uh, it's so you don't like overstep your boundaries. You're not imposing, because that's culturally rude in Eastern cultures. Uh, there's the piece about not making eye contact, like direct contact is considered rude and imposing. So traditional East Asian culture, you're not supposed to make direct eye contact with elders or superiors, and are considered disrespectful. So and I had learned, I don't it was more outside reading about how someone's personability, or your ability to like connect with others, um, part of it is um, being good at mirroring people. So that does require a bit of eye contact and mirroring, like unconsciously, others, and that causes people to like, uh, I guess, uh, like feel connected to the person that's doing the mirroring. So I wondered if like the cultural thing about not making eye contact uh, made me less personable, or less uh, adept at making connections. So I became kind of critical of that aspect of my culture, and thought maybe that aspect uh, was as superior as ones that encourage that. So, but after the fact, there's like this tendency to say that Western culture is superior in any way, has long roots in colonialism, and uh, like no other way to put it, it's rooted in white supremacy. So now I think it's important uh, to not equate domination, colonialism with superiority of a culture, because no culture uh, is superior than the other. These are cultures came to the way they are because that was most beneficial to the group historically, and no culture is better than the other. Even when you consider cultures today that are hunter-gatherer societies, or not modernized, like they kept that way of life, that culture, because it worked best for them. They found most value in it, and that's why they kept doing it. It's not because they're inferior, or less intelligent than any other group. It's maybe they kept that because they were better than other cultures were. So they're especially historically been adept at their way of life than others. So no culture is more superior than the other.